useful to my students. Can you all do that?
Yes.
Don't write it down. In your head, tell yourself what you will do. Do you have it in your head? I will wait 5 seconds for you to do this. Do all of you have an answer? Excellent. Is that answer 3x plus 21? How did you get that? You distributed, which is a fancy word for multiplying, yes? Excellent. Can all of you do this? What is it? Excellent. What are the factors of 8 in that equation? 2 and 4. How did you know now if I said, tell me the factors of 8? What are your options? And? 1 and 8. How did you know that? Because, what? No. Any two numbers that multiply to 8 are factors, yes? How do you know if two numbers multiply to 8? No, you do not calculate. How do you know if two numbers multiply to 8? Pardon me? Fits into 8.
Oh, that's
8's got 2 spots there. I can't.
Like 4 2 times is 4 plus 4. That's 8.
Okay. So what have you done to 8 to know it's 2 and 4? Divided. That is how you find factors, yes? You divide. Agreed? Okay. So, and you needed to find 2 factors, so both the numbers on the left side here had to be able to divide into 8, yes? Well, now I want factors of that, which means I need what? Factors that will divide into that, yes? So, what is it? 3. So 3 divides into that. Now, if I know that 2 divides into 8, I do 8 divided by 2 and I get 4, yeah? So I know it's 2 times 4. So I do 3x divided by 3 plus 21 divided by 3, and I get x plus 7 times the other thing I divided, 3. Can everybody do that? That is GCF. That's all there is to it. How many people need to knock again? Good. Excellent. So that means 5x squared plus 3x to the 4th minus 15 minus 18x cubed. Factor it. You shouldn't need to write it down. You should be able to see that right now. What's the number? 3. What's the letter? X. How many x's? 2 of them. Why? Because that guy can only give up 2. Now what's the GCF? Still the same. Now what's the GCF? Now what's the GCF? 3x squared y. Does anybody need to knock? Awesome. What do I do? What math is happening right there? Multiplication. Is that exactly the same as that? Why? What is happening in the top left? 3 is multiplying by x. What is happening in the bottom right? 3 is multiplying by x plus 2. Yeah? Okay. What then actually? Let's make that 7. That'll work even better. What's happening down here? 7 is multiplying x by x plus 2. What happens if I change this to 3x plus 3 times 7? Oops, sorry. All right. 7 times 3. What is happening in the top left? What's multiplying? 7 and 3. What's multiplying on the left in the top left? 3 and x. Are these both factors? What is a factor? Any two numbers that multiply together. Are these factors? Yes, because it's 3 times x. Are these factors? Why? Because they're two numbers multiplying together. Is there a common factor? What is the common factor here? 3. So I can take out a 3, yes? Are these both factors? Why? Because 3 is multiplying by x plus 2. Are these both factors? Why? Because 7 is multiplying by x plus 2. Is there a common factor? What is it? X plus 2. So x plus 2 would be the thing that divided out. If I divide this by x plus 2, what happens to x plus 2 and x plus 2? They cancel, leaving me with what? 3. If I divide this by x plus 2 and x plus 2, what happens? They cancel, leaving me with what? Plus 7. 3 plus 7. Hey, I know what that is. I wouldn't go to the bank and say, withdraw 3 plus $7, would I? What would I say? I would withdraw $10. X plus 2 times 10. Can everybody GCF? Can everybody GCF when it looks like this? What?
Why did you leave x plus 2 again? Didn't you cancel them out?
No. Same reason up here, Karen. I divided by the 3, so it has to come to the front. Because at the end of all your factoring, you have to be able to get back to here. So 3x plus 7, when I expand that, I get 3x plus 21. Okay, down here, I had 3x plus 2 plus 7x plus 2, correct? Which would be 3x plus 6 plus 7x plus 14, correct? Which would be 3x plus 7x, 10x, 6 plus 14, 20. 10x, 10 times 2, 10x plus 20. Can everybody GCF? Awesome, possums. So nobody needs that reviewed anymore, I hope. Jacob? Yes.
You can use that trick too, right?
Of course you can use that trick. I don't know what trick you speak of, but I'm trusting that you know what trick you speak
So
of.
if I didn't do any work, I was just like, that's fine. Like if I still wrote the answer, but like I just
Sure.
okay.
Next was this one. Right? What's that? X plus 3, x minus 3. We did a whole bunch of experiments with that. Because x squared minus 3x plus 3x minus 9, the 3's drop out. So no matter what I have, if it's squared minus squared, that always works. X to the 4th minus 25. Is that a perfect square? What's the square root? X squared plus, is that a perfect square? What's the square root? 5. X squared minus 5. X to the 6th minus 16. Is that a perfect square? What is it? X cubed plus 4. X cubed minus 4. X to the 7th minus 25x. I would divide by x. Why, Marcos? Because of the last 20 minutes we just spent doing GCF, right? X. X to the 6th minus 25. Hey! X to the 6th, x. X cubed plus 5. X cubed minus 5. Yeah? Everyone good with basic? Great. Change it. Ah! Where is all that coming from? Change it to x minus 7 squared minus 16. Isn't that exactly the same as b squared minus 16? Yes. Who has to see that relationship? You do. Is it complicated? If I walked in here wearing a bathing suit and a towel, would it be me minus a bunch of clothes? Would it still be me? Excellent. That's all this is. It's the exact same thing. Everybody cool? So up here, it would be b minus 4 plus 4 and b minus 4, correct? Well, that would be x minus 7 plus 4 and x minus 7 minus 4. Hey, wait a minute. I don't go to the bank and say, hey, give me negative 7 plus $4. I do x negative 7 plus 4. Negative 3. And x minus 11. Yeah? Great. That's difference of squares. And finally, the third one we have done, and the one that you need to know most to carry on to the last bit of factoring in grade 10. X plus 2, x minus 7. What would you do with that? No. You're factoring. This is already factored. What would I do with that? X squared minus 5x minus 14, correct? Right? Now, Karen, what would you do with that? Because now you don't know this side of it. What would you do? You'd factor. And how? You would want numbers that did what? Why was I able to write this right away? Because what really happened there? How did I get to here properly? X squared. He waited patiently for his class to multiply. Minus 7x plus 2x minus 14. Negative 7 plus 2, negative 5. Hey, wait a minute. Negative 7 plus 2, negative 5. 2 times 7, negative 14. Hey, wait a minute. 2 times 7, negative 14. Yeah? So again, what would you do when faced with... No pain, no gain. What would you do when faced with that? You know how we got there. We added the two terms in the factors. You know how we got there. We multiplied the two terms in the factors. So you need numbers that will multiply to negative 14 and add to negative 5. Is it 1 and 14? No. Is it 2 and 7? Yes, because 2 minus 7 is negative 5. So it is x plus 2, x minus 7. And then you check it at the end. X times x is x squared. 2 times 7 is negative 14. 2 minus 7 is negative 5, and I'm right. If you can do that, you can do this. X to the 4th minus 6x plus minus 16. What would it be? Well, Marcos, why is it x squared? Right up here, the answer was x and x. Why is it all of a sudden x squared? Because x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. What if it was x to the third minus, that should be x squared, minus x to the sixth minus x to the third plus 12, no, not plus 12, minus 12. What would it be? Fourth became squared. What's sixth going to be? X cubed. X cubed. What if it was x to the 42nd? What would it be? 4 became 2. 6 became 3. What will 42 be? No. 4 became 2. 6 became 3. What will 42 become? 21. Excellent. Say it louder. Trust me, you saying something and having it wrong makes me way less want to stab this pen into my eye than dead silence. Because if somebody's at least saying something, someone's thinking. And that's my only goal. All right, so x squared minus 8x minus 15. What do I need? Go to the bathroom. Pardon? Why is it 3 and 5? Because, Marcos, I know you know how to do it. When you say 3 and 5, if somebody doesn't know how to do it, they're going, what magic is this? Marcos is a wizard. Why do you know it is 3 and 5? Because negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8, and negative 3 times, I know, I'm getting to there, times negative 5 is what? Positive 15. So could I factor that? No, I can't, Marcos. That's why I chose those numbers. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you go, oh, 3 and 5, got it. And then you try to do it and it's wrong. You got to think it through. That's why I wanted you to say what you did. Because as soon as you say what you did, you see it can't be done. Right? Okay. People good? All right. Because if you can't do this, you're in big trouble today. Is everybody at least have their fingers in a crack of understanding this? Everyone. We're going to practice it a bunch today. So if you're at least grabbing on with 3 fingers before you fall off the math precipice, you're there. Are we okay? All right, now let's get a 4th finger in there. Let's muscle this finger up, grab on, and let's go help. And then somebody will come over the top and say, I got you, brother, and haul you up. Good? Let's go. Turn to page 137. I know we're skipping 136. Don't worry. If this wasn't here, what would you do? Or this is here, what will you do? You will expand it. What is the shortcut to expanding that in 1 second? X squared plus 10x plus 24. Why? Because that is x times x to get x squared plus 6x plus 4x plus 24. Yes? Excellent. Now, this side is factors. This side is product. This way is expansion. This way is factoring. If I wanted you to factor this, you already know that you need numbers that will multiply to 24 and add to 10. Those numbers are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. You know it has to be 4 and 6 because 4 plus 6 equals 10. Everyone can do that, right? Okay. Now, I am going to break my own rule. Usually, I show you people many, many, many ways to do every single problem, yes? I've been teaching people how to factor these for 20 years. I know of 3 ways that it can be done. 2 of them are confusing. One is confusing and very difficult to grasp. The second one is easy to grasp, but it requires you to learn a very weird sort of diagram with all these arrows and positives and negatives in it. And it's the worst kind of math because it is involved only with guessing. And guessing is stupid when you know how to do stuff, right? Excellent. So, let us go. What is that if I were to expand it? What will I get there if I expand it? 6x squared. Keep talking. Negative. No, don't do it that way, Marcos. Let's go all the way through. Trust me. Minus 4x. Then what? Plus 3x. Then what? Minus 2. Which would give me a final polynomial of 6x squared minus x minus 2. Everyone agree? Where are the factors? They're on the left. These are the factors. This is the product, yes? So that must mean I can do something to this to make it get back to here, right? Does everybody agree? Obviously, these are factors of this because I just multiplied it to get that. So I must be able to get from here back to here, yeah? Okay. If there was no 6 there, you would need numbers that did what? Multiplied to what? Negative 2 and added to what? Negative 1. Everyone agrees? Okay. But there is a 6 there. What does that 6 do to that x? It makes it what? It multiplies it by how much? 6. So when there was no 6 there, I needed to multiply to negative 2. But there is a 6 there. So this x is now 6 times bigger. So what does that negative 2 need to be? 6 times bigger, which is what? Negative 12. Is everybody cool with my logic there? If it's just an x, I need to multiply to negative 2. But it's 6 times bigger than an x, so I must need to multiply to negative 12. Everybody agree? Let's watch. If I add x squared plus 3x plus 7, what would I need to multiply to? 7. Now what would I need to multiply to? 21. If I had x squared plus blah, because it doesn't matter, minus 10, what would I need to multiply to? Negative 10. Now what? Negative 40. Does everybody see? Okay. Now, let's go from here, and I'm going to slide off the page because I want to show you people something. So, I now have a 6x squared minus x minus 2, and I need to multiply to negative 12. Everybody agree? Now, I know that I'm going to end up with something, 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 right? And I know that that's going to multiply, that's going to multiply, that's going to multiply, that's going to multiply, right? And I know that at the end, those middle terms are going to add up like 10 and 4 did here, correct? So those middle terms had to add up to 10. This time, those middle terms still have to add up to 1, don't they? So what are the factors of negative 12 that will add up to negative 1? Is it 1 and 12? No. Is it 2 and 6? No. Is it 3 and 4? Yes. How will 3 and 4 get me to negative 1? Positive 3 minus 4. Agreed? So, if there was no 6 there, it would be x plus 3 and x minus 4. Correct? Is everyone cool with me to there? How did I know to use 12? Because I should have only been using 2 if we followed last day's rules, right? How did I know I was going to 12? Because I multiplied by 6, right? So at the very beginning, I multiplied by 6. But isn't factoring all about division? So I better get rid of that 6, yes? The only reason I know that's a 3 is because I multiplied it by 6, right? So how do I get rid of that multiplied by 6? I divide by 6. Everybody cool? How did I know that negative 4 was there? Because I multiplied by 6. So what should I do to get rid of that multiply by 6? Divide by 6. Everybody cool? Would Mrs. Bad Crumble ever let you leave those two fractions? No, she'd go ape. What is this really? 1/2. What is this really? Minus 2/3. Now I'm going to stop and let you see the beginning of the shortcut. What do you see there and there? What do you see there and there? Now, if I didn't tell you why it worked, but I showed you this fraction, what would your final answer be? Look at what you just saw. 9x plus 2 and 7x plus 3. Everyone see it? That's what you do. Do I ever leave you hanging with that's what you do? No, I always show you why. Watch. And this will also show you why we multiplied by 6 at the very beginning. We all agree that this will get me to here, correct? And we all agree that this shares a lot of characteristics with that, right? All right. What would happen if I expanded this? What would that value be? X squared. What would that value be? Negative 2/3 x, right? What would that value be? Positive 1/2 x. And what would that value be? Minus what? 1/2 times 2/3, people. 2/6. Agreed? Now, what do I need to do with those like terms? What would I do if it was 6x and 4x? You would combine them. How do I combine two fractions? Same denominator. So I need to do negative 2/3 plus 1/2. What is the common denominator? 6. What is this then? Negative 4 plus 3. What's negative 4 plus 3? Negative 1/6. Agreed? So now I have x squared minus 1/6 x minus 2/6. Correct? How many of you hate fractions? All of you put your hand up. How do you get rid of fractions? No, fractions are already dividing. You multiply. What would I multiply to get rid of those 6's? I would multiply by 6, wouldn't I? What's 6? I love it when I hear that from a few people. What is 6 times x squared? 6x squared. What is 6 times 1/6? 1x. What is 6 times 2/6? -2. Everybody got that nice and committed in their memory? What's that? Same thing. Everybody good? Step 1. ax squared plus bx plus c. If there's an a there, step 1, you need to multiply to a times c. Step 2, factor normally. Step 3, simplify fractions. Step 4, move denominators. You've seen why it works. You've never cared why anything works. You only care about doing it. I refuse to let you go ahead without seeing why it works. That's what all of this was. Everybody cool? So, let's start with this first one that seems really difficult. What don't I like about number 1? I don't like 20. Can I get rid of it? Sure, Mr. Myers, I could divide by 20. Divide by 20, divide by 20. Oh, wait a minute. 33 doesn't divide by 20. I'm screwed, but I'm not. I got to multiply to a times c. What is it? 20 times 10, which is 200. And I got to add to what? 33. Is it 1 and 200? Is it 2 and 100? Is it 4 and 50? Is it 5 and 40? Is it 8 and 25? Yes. So, have I done the first step? Yes. Now I got to factor normally. 8 and 25. So it's b plus 8 and b plus 25. But why did I know it was 8 and 25? What did I have to do before I could find the 8 and the 25? I had to multiply by 20, didn't I? So this 8 is only here because I multiplied by 20. So what is it really? 8 over 20. This 25 is only here because I multiplied by 20. So what is it really? 25 over 20. Would Mrs. Bad Crumble ever let you leave those fractions? Your Mrs. Bad Crumble teacher in grade 4 over at Godson is right now. There's a ripple in the force. Kids aren't simplifying fractions. I can tell. But you're going to settle the force down, aren't you? Simplify that. What is it? 2 over 5. Simplify that. 5 over 4. When they get no simpler, move the denominators. 5b plus 2. 4b plus 5. Now, all of you are saying to yourself, Mr. Myers, that's crazy. I don't know if I did it right. And Mr. Myers says to you, yes, you do, because you all know how to expand that. What's 5 times 4? 20. What's b times b? B squared. What's 2 times 5? 10. If the ends are right, the middle's right. Everybody good? What don't you like about 2? I don't like that 3. Can I get rid of it? No. Why not? Does that work? No. Does that work? No. So I got to do my move. I got to multiply to what? 30? Negative 30. Why? I think a times c. That's my thinking. So I got to multiply to negative 30. What do I got to add to? Negative 13. Is it 1 and 30? 2 and 15? Is it 2 and 15? Are you sure it's not 3 and 10? Why is it 2 and 15? Because I need a negative. So one of them has to be positive, one has to be negative. Which one? 2 minus 15 or 15 minus 2? 2 minus 15. There's my pair, correct? So it is S plus 2. But it is not really plus 2. What is it really? 2 over 3. Why? Because I multiplied that 3 at the beginning. And S minus 15. But it isn't really 15. What is it really? 15 over 3. Mrs. Bad Crumble. She's getting ornery over there. Ripple in the force. What do I got to do? 15 over 3 becomes 5, doesn't it? Is everything simple? What do I do with all denominators now? Move them. 3s plus 2 and s minus 5. How do I check if I'm right? 3s times s. Is that 3s squared? 2 times negative 5. Is that negative 10? I'm right. Everybody good? Okay, now it's your turn to try to deal with the force. Go. Do number 3 and only number 3. Do not go ahead. Trust me, I don't want you to for a reason. Do number 3. Cool. How should I start? I'm not asking for the answer. I'm asking how to start. 6 times 9, I got to multiply to 54 and add to what? 21, right? Negative 21. Thank you. Is it 1 and 54? 2 and 27? 3 and 18? 3 and 18, right? So it is x minus 3, but it's not minus 3, it's 3 over 6. And x minus 18, but it's not 18, it's 18 over 6. Now what? Simplify. 1/2, 3, right? Now what? Denominator to the front, 2x minus 1, x minus 3. Check. 2x times x is what? 2x squared. What did I need? 6. Damn it. 3 times 1 is what? This is not a complicated question. 3 times 1. 3. What did I need? 9. So am I right? Yeah, I am. Because what should I have taken out at the very beginning? What's the kind of factoring we're supposed to do every time? GCF. So if I brought out a 3, what would be here? A 3. And isn't 2 times 2x 2x squared? Isn't 3 times 2x 6x squared? Isn't 1 times 3 positive 3? Isn't 3 times 3 9? Everybody good? Great. Now, that was mean of me. I know. Mr. Myers, why you got to be that way? 4 has no trick like that. Do 4. Go. is there anybody, and you don't need to say out loud, is there anybody that is like, I don't even know where to start? I need some kind of signal, though. Let's do my usual. Okay. Now this is where you must help me. You have to tell yourself why you don't know where to start, which sounds weird. You need to know what you know. If there was no 8 there, do you know how to do this? Hopefully you know you would multiply to -5 and add to -18. Hopefully you know that. If you don't, then you need to come and see me because I've reviewed it 1,000 times. This is your problem now. So, there is an 8 there. I have one way to get rid of that 8. If I divide by 8, it will disappear. But I'm only allowed to do that if everything divides by 8. Does 18 divide by 8? No. Does 5 divide by 8? No. So I can't do that. So I have to do the original thing that I know how to do, except I'm not multiplying to -5 because the P is 8 times bigger. So I must do this multiply, and I must multiply to -40. But I am still adding to -18. Next step, find those numbers. Will 1 and 40 get me to 18? No. Will 2 and 20? How? 2 minus 20 is -18. So I know my numbers have to be P minus 20 and P plus 2. But they are not really 20 and 2. Why? Because I multiplied by 8 to find those numbers. So I've got to get rid of that 8 now. Now simplify. 20 over 8 is 5 over 2. 2 over 8 is 1 over 4. And then Mr. Myers was gracious enough to show me how this works over on this other page, and he didn't even make me write it down. He said, just look at it and think about it. And then he gave me that great trick that you just move the denominator to the front. And then he even taught me how to check it. Is 2p times 4p 8p squared? Yeah, sure, you betcha. Is -5 times +1 -5? Yeah, sure, you betcha. Did you do it right? Yeah, sure, you betcha. Now, remember back in number 3 when Myers was kind of a dick about it? Well, I promise I won't make you do that for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was 5 seconds. I wonder if there's another time in the next 5 seconds where you might have to remember a time when Mr. Myers was being a dick. About 45 seconds ago. Everybody ready to try number 5? Go. Jacob, some people are still going to do it wrong.
What? No.
Yeah.
He just said that.
What don't I like about number 5? I don't like that 24. But 24 times 24 is a big number. But I notice, wait a minute, doesn't that all divide by 4? Yeah. So what goes to the front? 4. What does my trinomial now become? 6h squared minus 5h minus 6. And now it's real easy. I can't get rid of that 6. Normally I would multiply to -6, but I'm 6 times bigger than that. So now I need to multiply to what? -36. And add to what? Negative 5. If I write it out, is it possible to do it wrong? Not really. Is it 1 and 36? No. Is it 2 and 18? No. Is it 3 and 12? No. Is it 4 and 9? Yes. How will 4 and 9 get me to negative 5? 4 minus 9. 4, h plus 4. But it's not really plus 4. It's 4. Not 24. 6. And h minus 9. But it's not really 9. It's 9/6. I hate fractions. What is it? 2/3. I hate fractions. What is it? 3/2. I hate denominators when I'm factoring. Where do they go? To the front. 3h plus 2. 2h minus 3. I hate it when I have to ask Mr. Myers to check something when I can check it myself. What's 3 times 2? 6h squared. What's 4 times 6h? 24h. What's 2 times negative 3? Negative 6. What's negative 6 times 4? Negative 24. Am I right? Yeah. What do I got to multiply to? 12. What do I got to add to? 13. Is it 1 and 12? Yes. N plus 1. N plus 12. But it's not really 1 and 12. It's 1/2 and 12/2. Does that simplify? Nope. So where does the 2 go? To the front. Does that simplify? To what? 6. Any denominator? Nope. N plus 6. Is 2 times n 2n squared? Is 1 times 6 6? Did I do it right? Am I a rock star? Yes, you are. What do I do with 7? What am I multiplying to? 12. What am I adding to? 8. Is it 1 and 12? Is it 2 and 6? How will 2 and 6 get me to 8? Plus and plus. T plus 2, T plus 6. Is it really 2 and 6? No. What's it really? 2/3 and 6/3. Does that simplify? Nope. So where does the 3 go? To the front. Does that simplify? To what? 2. Any denominator? So it's t plus 2. Can I check it? Is 3 times t 3t squared? Is 2 times 2 4? So am I right? Yes, I am. What do I do with 8? Multiply to what?
14.
Add to what? Is it 1 and 14? Yes. M plus 14, but it's not 14. And m plus 1, but it's not 1. What do I do with 14 over 2? 7. Does that simplify?
No.
So where does the 2 go? To the front. Is m times 2m 2m squared? Is 7 times 1 7? If the ends are right, are the middle right? Yes. Does anything change now except for looks? No. I will remind you of a few things. If it is x squared plus blah, the answer is going to be what? It's going to be x plus, right? If the answer is x plus, and that's a minus, what's it going to be? It's going to be x plus, x minus. If it is plus and minus, what's it going to be? It's going to be minus minus, because negative times negative to get the positive. Right? Okay. What if it is x4 plus plus? Squared and squared. Plus and plus. What if it's plus and minus? Plus and minus. What if it's minus plus? Minus minus. What if it's x to the 100th plus plus? 50, 50 plus plus. Plus minus. Plus minus. Minus plus. Minus minus. Excellent. What if it is a x to the 4th plus plus? It's going to be x squared and x squared. And what will these have to be? Some factors of a. How will I find those factors of a? The same way I found those factors of a here. Right? 2 and 1 are the factors of 2, aren't they? 3 and 1 are the factors of 3, aren't they? 3 and 2 are factors of 6, aren't they? Is everybody ready? Your job today for homework, and this is all I want you to do, is page 138. 18 and 19, 15, 16, 18, and 19 are a little hard. Please notice that is what I just asked you about. Remember, if it was 9t squared plus 12t plus 4, you could do it in your sleep. Go.